Tonight, several developing stories as we come on the air. The economy tonight, the blockbuster new jobs report, surpassing expectations. The stock market tonight setting another all-time high. Also tonight, after Hurricane Helene, another system now set to bring nearly a foot of rain to some parts. We'll have the new forecast. And what Dolly Parton has done tonight amid the devastation. First tonight, the economy and the blowout jobs report, crushing expectations, wages going up, and the new stock market high tonight. Vice President Kamala Harris on the trail, fueled by the economic news. President Biden surprising reporters in the briefing room. And what former President Trump said today when asked about the improving economic picture. Tonight, the painstaking search for the missing. Families not giving up hope after Hurricane Helene. More than 220 lives lost now. And tonight, we have learned about the heartbreaking death of twin babies and their mother. Vice President Harris in North Carolina tomorrow. Amid all of this, as tonight, we're now tracking yet another new threat in the Gulf at this hour. Nearly a foot of rain could be coming. Meteorologist Cecily Tynan is here to time this out. Tonight, the U.S. launching military strikes on militants in Yemen as Iran's supreme leader now issues a dire warning to Israel. Back in the U.S. tonight, one of the most notorious murder trials in U.S. history. What we've learned tonight about the DA's decision to review the case of Lyle and Eric Menendez. Could they go free? Tonight, here, the mid-air confrontation on board an American Airlines flight, passengers rushing to help a woman. The new images tonight, the effort to save the elephants from the floods. And the remarkable moment in a Walmart parking lot, what Dolly Parton has done tonight. Dolly and the everyday heroes helping in the storm zone, our persons of the week.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us. We made it to Friday. We have a lot to get to tonight. The devastation after Hurricane Helene. We are watching yet another system tonight that could bring up to a foot of rain. Meteorologist Cecily Tynan is here. And what Dolly Parton has done in the storm zone tonight, the whole effort, remarkable. But we begin tonight with the economy and this blockbuster new jobs report. The new numbers blowing past expectations. The stock market tonight hitting a new all-time record. 254,000 new jobs created in September. Unemployment now falling to 4.1%. The July and August jobs numbers also revised up by 72,000 new jobs. Vice President Kamala Harris celebrating with union workers today in the key battleground state of Michigan, fueled by the economic news in these final 32 days of the campaign. Former President Trump visiting the storm zone in battleground Georgia, how he responded when asked about the encouraging jobs numbers. ABC's Rachel Scott leading us off from the battleground of Georgia tonight.
With 32 days until the election and the economy the number one issue, tonight the new jobs report beating expectations. The stock market gaining over 300 points, closing at another record high late today. Americans' 401ks are growing, with the market hitting dozens of record highs this year. All of this coupled with the news that inflation is slowing and the Fed is lowering rates. Vice President Kamala Harris in front of union workers in battleground Michigan, making the case she will be the president for American workers.
Donald Trump's track record is a disaster for working people. And he's trying to gaslight people all over our country. But we know the facts, and we know the truth. He is an existential threat to America's labor movement.
Harris fueled by the economic news and the development overnight, the Biden administration working to end the dock workers' strike that could have raised prices for American families in the coming weeks. Tonight, that crisis also averted.
Hey, folks.
In a rare moment, President Biden surprising reporters in the briefing room, taking a victory lap on an improving economy.
Once again, outside experts were wrong. Inflation has come down. Wages have gone up faster than prices. Interest rates are down.
The new blockbuster jobs report showing stronger than expected hiring across the U.S. economy. Restaurants, healthcare, state and local governments, and construction adding tens of thousands of workers with wages going up too. The unemployment rate ticking down to 4.1%. Economists say another very encouraging sign. I asked Trump today about the state of the economy.
Jobs are up. The stock market hit that all-time high. Do you acknowledge that the economy is improving?
No, it's not. It's inflation has devastated our economy. It's one of the big problems we have.
The former president back in the battleground state of Georgia, this time side by side with Republican Governor Brian Kemp, who he once attacked for refusing to help him overturn the results of the 2020 election in Georgia. Their first public appearance together in 4 years. Tonight, President Biden was pressed if he's concerned about whether this election will be peaceful.
Do you have confidence that it will be a free and fair election and that it will be peaceful?
Two separate questions.
Very much.
I'm confident it'll be free and fair. I don't know whether it will be peaceful. The things that Trump has said and the things that he said last time out when he didn't like the outcome of the election were very dangerous. If you notice, I noticed that the vice presidential Republican candidate did not say he'd accept the outcome of the election. They haven't even accepted the outcome of the last election. So I'm concerned about what they're going to do.
Today, Donald Trump said he can only hope that this election would be free and fair. He would not answer if he believes it would remain peaceful. Tomorrow, the former president heads to Butler, Pennsylvania, and that exact rally location where there was an attempt on his life nearly 3 months ago. As for the Harris campaign next week, former President Barack Obama gets out on the campaign trail for Vice President Kamala Harris. He will be doing a blitz through the battleground states, starting in all-important Pennsylvania. David.
Rachel Scott leading us off on a Friday night. Rachel, thank you. Meanwhile, tonight, the painstaking and desperate effort to find the missing continues after Hurricane Helene and the storm that followed. Tonight, at least 220 confirmed deaths now, hundreds still unaccounted for. New images still emerging tonight, the destructive floodwaters, tractor trailers tumbling in the rushing waters in Swannanoa, North Carolina. The moment one of those trailers is wrapped around a pole right there. Tonight here, the stark satellite images. This is the Chimney Rock Country Fair, they call it, a colorful amusement park. This is before the storm. Tonight, look at this. Nothing is left. The road is completely gone. The fair's website now says permanently closed. ABC's Morgan Norwood from North Carolina, again tonight.
Tonight, recovery from Helene's devastating destruction entering its second week.
Almost up to my knees. This is nuts. I ain't never seen something like this.
The search for survivors exhausting, but everyone holding out hope.
We know these are hard times, but please know we're coming. We're coming to get you.
When rescue crews clear a property, they mark it with an X. The zero there means that no one was found inside. And as of this morning, there are still hundreds missing here in Buncombe County.
The North Carolina National Guard says their chopper teams and rescue crews have rescued more than 530 people and more than 100 pets. But so many areas still inaccessible. This drone video showing a Department of Transportation crew trying to carve a path into the town of Chimney Rock. Here's what the area looked like before and now.
So we were just kind of huddled behind that chimney there.
In Swannanoa, we met John Zera. He and his family were rescued by a kayak from the roof of their home. He says neither he nor any of his neighbors have flood insurance.
This is just not the kind of thing we see in Asheville. We've already been denied that coverage, and we're working with FEMA to see whatever they're going to be able to do.
Helene's destruction could have far-reaching consequences. Hospitals across the country facing possible shortages of IV fluids after one of the largest plants in the country was badly damaged. The plant producing 1.5 million bags of IV fluid a day. And sadly tonight, we're learning about the youngest victims of Helene. Kaiser and Casimir Williams, twins, just 6 weeks old, died alongside their mother, Kobe, hunkered in their trailer in Thompson, Georgia.
And David, a bit of good news here late today. Buncombe County officials giving an update on the missing. They now say 75 people remain unaccounted for tonight. That is down from just about 200. Meanwhile, Vice President Kamala Harris set to visit Western North Carolina tomorrow. David?
Really moving and important work from you, Morgan, and the team there in North Carolina all week. Thank you. By the way, we'll get to what Dolly Parton has done in the storm zone just a bit later here, and it is incredible. Meantime, as millions you saw there try to recover, we are watching yet another new system in the Gulf tonight, a developing storm set to hammer Florida with nearly a foot of rain. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Cecily Tynan from our Philadelphia station, WPVI, back with us tonight. Cecily, good to have you.
Good evening, David. All eyes are on a disturbance in the Gulf that now has a medium chance of becoming our next named tropical storm. Now, even if it doesn't get a name, this system is going to bring flooding rains to Florida through much of next week. Some areas could get up to 10 inches of rain. Right now, it looks like the heaviest rain will fall south of those areas affected by Helene. East coast of Florida, rip currents are going to be a problem right through the week, and the reason why, Major Hurricane Kirk, it's a Category 4 hurricane. Now, this system is more than than 2,000 miles offshore, but it's big, it's powerful, it's really churning up the Atlantic. Now out west, the October heat wave continues. Another day of record heat for many cities, including Denver, coming off its hottest September on record. This heat continues well into next week. David?
Cecily Tynan of WPVI. Cecily, thank you. Overseas tonight, the U.S. launching military strikes on Iranian-backed militants in Yemen as Iran's supreme leader now issues a dire new warning to Israel. Here's our chief foreign correspondent, Pannell, from Beirut tonight.
Tonight, as fears grow of a wider war in the Middle East, explosions rocking the capital of Yemen. U.S. forces attacking Iran-backed Houthi rebels across the country. The Pentagon saying the U.S. Navy targeted 15 Houthi military sites in an effort to make international waters safer after the Houthis started targeting ships claiming solidarity with the Palestinians in Gaza. This video showing a massive blast on an oil tanker. It comes as Iran's supreme leader warned Israel will not survive. A gun at his side, Ayatollah Khamenei speaking publicly for the first time in nearly 5 years, praising Iran's unprecedented missile attack on Israel, calling it the minimum punishment for Israel's crimes. And tonight, with Israel vowing a painful retaliation against Iran, Israeli forces bombing Beirut. ABC News has learned that the IDF targeted Hashem Safieddine, a possible successor to assassinated Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah. No word tonight if Safieddine was killed. Civilians, though, caught in the crossfire.
It's very hard because
American Lebanese citizen Samer Bawab evacuated on a flight to Istanbul. Plumes of smoke visible at the airport.
many people are waiting at the airport all day just so they can get their grandparents out, their mom out, or their daughters out. It's completely tragic.
David, as Israel plans its next move, oil prices have surged in recent days amid reports it may strike Iranian oil production. That could impact gas prices. President Biden today said Israel should consider other alternatives to hitting Iran's oil fields. David?
Ian Pannell in Beirut all week for us. Ian, thank you. Meantime, back here in New York tonight, Governor Kathy Hochul says state police will be deployed to synagogues after multiple bomb threats. The threats so far found to be not credible, but New York City remains on high alert tonight amid the Jewish High Holy Days and with Monday's anniversary of the October 7th terror attacks in Israel. The FBI and Homeland Security have warned the anniversary could motivate extremists. Now to the major turn tonight, all these years later, in one of the most notorious murder trials in U.S. history, the Menendez brothers sentenced to life without parole for murdering their parents. Well, now the Los Angeles D.A. says he's reviewing new evidence. So could the Menendez brothers go free? Terry Moran covered the case years ago. He's back on the story tonight.
Tonight, will the Menendez brothers go free?
We have a moral and an ethical obligation to review what is being presented to us.
After more than 3 decades behind bars, there is now a glimmer of hope for Lyle and Eric Menendez, who are serving life in prison without parole for the brutal killings of their parents in 1989. The Los Angeles District Attorney has announced that he will review their case after lawyers for the brothers came forward with new evidence that they say corroborates the brothers' claim that they were sexually abused by their father, the crucial issue in the case.
What's the problem? I'm sorry to kill my parents.
It was a crime that was both shocking and salacious, the televised trial that captured the nation's attention, and now it's once again a cultural phenomenon, popularized by a new and controversial Netflix series.
I'm just a normal kid.
Oh, Eric, you're a normal kid who killed your parents.
Yeah, I know.
My dad.
The two young men both testifying they believed it was either kill or be killed.
They're planning to kill us.
That they had been sexually abused behind the doors of their Beverly Hills mansion by their domineering father, and that they were convinced their parents would kill them if they revealed the family secret.
He would fondle me. My dad had been molesting me.
Now prosecutors are reviewing this letter sent by Eric to a cousin in the months before the murders. He writes, "I've been trying to avoid Dad. It's still happening. Every night I stay up thinking he might come in." The DA is also investigating the claims of a former singer in the boy band Menudo, who alleges that the brothers' father, the powerful record executive Jose Menendez, abused him too. The judge who ultimately sentenced the brothers did not allow evidence of their alleged abuse to be heard at trial. Their supporters say they've served their time, more than 3 decades behind bars, and that the case and the life sentences look very different today.
Fast forward 35 years later, we've got a much more robust and evolved understanding of abuse, that yes, abuse can occur both with females and with males.
24 members of the Menendez family, including siblings of their father and mother, are asking that they be freed. And it goes way beyond that, from viral movements on social media to Kim Kardashian, who has visited the brothers in prison and who is also calling for their release. David?
Terry Moran with us here tonight. Terry, thank you as always. When we come back tonight, the mid-air confrontation on board an American Airlines flight, passengers rushing to help a woman. Also ahead, the effort to save the elephants from the floods, the remarkable images of the elephants tonight. And later here, what Dolly Parton has now done right here at home. Tonight, the disturbing confrontation on board an American Airlines flight from Miami to Charlotte. Video tonight showing several passengers and crew appearing to save a woman from an allegedly violent man she was traveling with. At least 2 men restraining the passenger, others helping to move the woman to another seat. Police escorting both of them off the plane. There's no word yet if he's been charged. When we come back here tonight in New York City, could taking a taxi soon mean getting into a helicopter and flying over the city? And then the remarkable images tonight of the elephants being saved from the floods. To the index of other news tonight, and air taxis may soon be a reality in several major cities, including New York. Several aviation companies say they plan to start flying electric helicopters carrying passengers as early as next year. Rides would be booked similar to your Uber app. They will be flown by commercial pilots. They still need safety tests before receiving FAA approval. Tonight, a remarkable image from overseas, the race to rescue dozens of elephants from flash flooding in Thailand. Nearly 100 elephants have been evacuated from the Elephant Nature Park. They still need to get several more out. The video tonight showing them wading through very deep water. 2 elephants are still missing. The park asking for volunteers to help get the remaining elephants to safety. Nearly 100 saved so far. When we come back here at home, the devastation after Hurricane Helene. And tonight, what Dolly Parton has done right in a Walmart parking lot. Finally tonight here, the everyday heroes and someone you'll know, Dolly Parton, and what they've all done. Our persons of the week. Tonight, in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, there remains so much need. And this evening, so many are answering the call to help. They're called the Happy Helicopters Tour Company in neighboring Greenville, South Carolina. And they're using their own helicopters to fly in desperately needed supplies.
We're trying to fit everything we can in our little helicopter here.
So many families hearing about the effort, dropping off donations, water, diapers, food. Then the volunteer pilots flying into the regions in need. Families also loading up trucks, driving supplies across state lines. And tonight here.
Hi, David.
Happy Helicopters owner Isaiah Birch and his family, proud of all of the people who are pitching in.
Everybody in the community is giving, even people that don't have anything, that are running low themselves. The power is still out in a lot of the area here. People are just giving what they have without having enough.
And just across town.
Hi, David. Come on in.
Dana Lee Marquez in a restaurant, Kamal 864. They've been serving up free meals to their community for 5 days straight now.
The first day we fed 350 people. The second day was like 200. Third day was about 300. Yesterday was 450 people. Me and my team, we cannot let people go hungry, and it won't happen here.
In Greensboro, North Carolina tonight, the nonprofit Feed the Hunger, handing out meals and supplies. The Food Bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina supporting the food banks in hard-hit Western North Carolina. In Durham, the sign Donation Drop-Off, families showing up, their trunks full of donations. Tonight here, the everyday heroes doing what they can. And so is someone else. Dolly Parton in a Walmart parking lot with her own donation and her song.
Today, I wanted to announce that from myself personally, just from my own bank account, I'm donating $1 million today.
Tonight, Dolly using her music to help heal.
Well, I've been like everybody else, trying to absorb everything going on, trying to figure out all the best ways to do this, because then we had that crazy old Helene. You came in here and broke us all apart. Helene. But we're all here to mend these broken hearts. And that's what I'm doing here, So
true. And so we choose Dolly and all of those volunteers answering the call. I'll see you Monday. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.